Hey, surprise! It's not Z Frosty, it's your boy TurboTabs. Pleased to meet you. I'm here with my buddy Ombrack on our first cast together. Are you excited, Ombrack?
What do you mean, it's not the Frosty?
No?
Okay, I'm out of it. See ya. It's TurboTabs solo cast, bye.
Welcome to the solo cast, the one I've been dreaming of all these years, the one I've been trying to make happen. Are you sure you want to go, Ombrack?
Well, I guess I have nothing better to do, so okay, I'll stay.
That's the spirit. Alright, we've also got a spirited one in here by the name of Nicell. You might have heard of him from the NA productions. We don't really get to use him too much in the EU because every time we bring him from the clutches of NA, the cast gets cancelled at the last minute, but we've actually made it this far, so fingers crossed we make it all the way to the end. Anyway, as I'm babbling on about, we should get into the things of the ETF2L. To be precise, it should be ETF2L Season 28, Week 6, our coverage of Weebtunnel Tactics versus the Choke Bustaz. It is going to be Sunshine and Reckoner. I think I've got that all right, yeah?
Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick.
So
right.
these two maps, like the maps no one ever plays outside of their weeks. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, please, Ombrack, as a Prem player yourself, vent your frustration to me. What is it about these two maps that just makes Prem players' blood boil?
I guess so. They're new somehow, in some way. So I think that's one point why people dislike them, because they don't have like the same set plays they can have on other maps. And then I would say, when I like Reckoner, Reckoner's alright, but I think people don't really like them because it feels like they've been put in the map pool for the sake of having new maps, and the maps they're replacing are better in my opinion. I mean, Granary is a strictly better map than both Reckoner and Sunshine, and I think people are also a bit maybe fed up of CP maps all the time, and they wouldn't be against some King of the Hills. So I don't know, that's just like a combinations of many things, many aspects, and unfortunately for them, Sunshine and Reckoner are the one that just get the shit coming.
Alright, before we get into a full map breakdown, we should maybe get into the teams before we get started here, as they are kind of piling onto the server rather quickly, so I'm going to let you pick any of these teams, Ombrack, to give me a good old-fashioned roster rundown.
Let's go with the Choke Bustaz. So on the Choke Bustaz, last on the tables right now, they have Daegu on Medic, Pappy is playing Pocket, on Roma we have Chris, Demoman is Rat Slayer, and the scouts are Crafty Dave on Pocket Scout and Hems on Roaming Scouts.
Very nicely, and over on the side of Weebtunnel Tactics, we've got Menti on Medic, we've got Jimbot, recently re-picked up, I should say, over on Demoman. We've got Warher playing Pocket/Roma, up for debate, and we've also got Ignis playing the Roma class. Bloodis will be playing Scout alongside his Finnish buddy Nuthouse. What a group of gamers. And usually this is the part of the cast on Ombrack where I bring up some pretty pictures, some nice little graphs, some stream stats for you, but I can't. And there's a very good reason why I can't do that, is because when I was punching on all these details on Ombrack, painstakingly adding all the datas and the ones and zeros, it seems that our stream stats system will not recognize Weebtunnel Tactics, and because it doesn't really see anyone on that team as a pocket soldier, and you kind of wonder, well, War's the pocket soldier, surely he should be, added in, but no matter what, it looks at the previous game that War played, and he thought that is not a pocket soldier's performance, and it will not accept it. So I can't create any stream stats, I can't create any pages, I could do nothing. So we're just going to have to speculate and even make up the stats, but it's almost a stat to be said by itself on Ombrack. War's performance in the last game must have not been very good.
I think there's two reasons to that. First of all, you mentioned War is playing Pocket/Roma, as in he has a very aggressive playstyle as a pocket soldier. He jumps a lot with the Ignis, and the way they do that is they don't really mind War dying, because he can spawn on Sniper, and when it's stalemate he can click on head. You can click on heads, you know. So that's a good point. And the other thing, maybe the other reason why War may not be on the stats as a pocket is because last week they played versus Lopender, and for the people who caught that game live, that was kind of dreadful on Sunshine. If I say so, there was the just before the Pyro update, and players such as Funds and War just wanted to get a final taste of the old Pyro before the update. So there was a lot of classing going on from War, from Funds mostly, but from everyone else. So maybe that's another reason. I think. Yeah, I think he didn't like as a pocket. Maybe he played like 5 minutes as a regular pocket. Then he just jumped around, played sniper, played pyro, and goofed around.
So I'm completely wrong in thinking that it was just a poor pocket performance. It was just he was playing a lot of other things. That was all. That was all to that game. But so if they were messing about in that previous game, Ombrack, does that mean Weebtunnel Tactics aren't going to be taking this game seriously? Is there any importance to this game, do you reckon?
Yeah. So first of all, I think the loser of this one will be the last bottom team of the league. So there's a relegation spot at stake here, and somehow if the team who wins tonight could still make it to the playoffs.
Wow!
It would be a slim chance, but they could still make it if one of these teams take 12 points out of their last two games. I think they could end up in the 4th position if Ascent beefs on their last game. And interestingly enough, the last game of the Bustaz is against Ascent. So if they take it tonight, the week 6 would be, or week 7 maybe, would be really important. So yeah, there's like from both ends of the table, there's some suspense going on here.
So if we had to make like a win scenario for say like Weebtunnel Tactics, what they want to do is they have to win all 6 ETF2L points, and they also have to beat Lego in the week 7 game as well.
Weebtunnel Tactics last game is versus Swift.
Oh, Swift is it?
And I think they only from the 12 points they still can win. They only need 9, and they lost 6-0 from Ascent if they want to be 4th. And if Bustaz wants to make into the playoff, they need 12 points, and that would mean a 6-0 win against Ascent. So if you're Ascent like me, the perfect result here would be a 4-2 in favor of the Bustaz.
I really want to avoid saying this, but I can't help but say it, Ombrack. Is this the closest season we've had for a long time now? It feels like the last 3 or 4 seasons have just been very like nail biters practically when it comes to these playoff spots, especially the 4th position one.
Yeah, but I mean, I think everyone who has a decent read on the league, not saying you don't have, but everyone who has a decent read on the league would have guessed that. I think I'm not gonna throw myself on the lie here, but I think from each week post game interviews, I said this would be the closest league season we'd ever have. Like the skill level is really stacked, and pretty much everyone could beat everyone. Weebtunnel Tactics are a perfect example of that. They tied versus Ascent. They tied versus Lopender, even though that was a weakened Lopender considering Zub was playing instead of Ubers, but they took a map. Bustaz had a close map versus Swift at the start of the season on Badlands, and Swift managed to win the map, but in the last 1 second, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a really, really stacked season, and one of the reasons for that is that 7 isn't playing, so and Antic fold as well, so that just helps to close the gap between the top and the bottom teams. But in the end, like I say that, but there's a clear gap between the top 3 and the rest of the team anyway.
Yeah, it's mainly this 4th spot, isn't it, that everyone's kind of clawing over. But I don't know. I mean, it does probably preach good things for whichever team managed to get to that 4th spot, so I can see everyone's foaming at the mouth to get it. But maybe if we look a little closer to both of these teams in this match tonight, is there anyone that seems like an obvious answer to you, Ombrack, that will take it away tonight? Do you think maybe the fact that Weebtunnel Tactics have picked up Jimbot again, do you think that will kind of tie things in their favour against the Bustaz?
I think solely based on his performance last week, I think Jimbot has the best damage output of all Demoman in Prem.
Wow.
Even though he played one game, because I think he had 10k damage in both games, both maps versus Topender. So yeah, I guess that's an upgrade to War, but War, he had a great damage output as well. So I don't know how much it helps to have. It's not like he's a newcomer to the team, because he played with them for 2 seasons before this one. It's more like a comeback. It's more about a comeback than a new player coming in. So it's really hard to say. I say that's an upgrade overall, because then War can play Sniper more freely on Pocket and on Demoman. So we'll see what happens. But like, when it comes to prediction, I think Weebtunnel Tactics are gonna take this first map.
Alright, and just as you lay down that bombshell, we will go into our first map. It is ETF2L Season 28, Week 6, Weebtunnel Tactics versus the Joke Busters. This is our first mid of our first map. CP Sunshine, what's happening on mid, Ombrack?
Rasa and Jimbot are trading some stickies there, and it looks like both of the teams are kind of waiting for the other soldiers to bomb in. Ignis is launching the aggression, trying to jump onto Degu, and the Warrior is going as well, but good job from Crafty denying both soldiers from going on their meds. But on the other way, I think Ems and Pappy tried to go for it as well, but got killed somehow by a nice cover. And the bomb is coming from behind from War, he's getting Degu from the choke. Nice rocket here from the British pocket, playing kind of roaming here. And it looks like Weebtunnel Tactics, they have this in the bag if they play around Menti, who is just hiding in choke, buffing his scouts. And is this gonna be? It looks like Chokebusters don't really want to give up on that, but that frag on Rattler is gonna take it to an end. That's the first mid for Weebtunnel Tactics, and a really strong showing from Warher, yeah, playing that pocket roaming style of gameplay you mentioned before.
Yeah, it's they had pretty much 2 different approaches from both of the roamers on that mid. To me, it looked like that War wanted to go for the very long flank all the way, whilst Pappy and Chris just wanted to get in the face of Menti and his buddies, but they did get shot down rather early, and I guess it's one of the rare occasions where a long flank like that pays off in a very long, rare mid. As we are getting an Uber out from Weebtunnel Tactics, who already have some nice point pressure, and they're throwing Ratslayer onto the point just to get some bodies on there, to get some stickies and stop people from capping. And God, look at this collapse coming out from the Choke Busters. This is beautiful TF2 on Ombrack.
So I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a STV HUD showing the Ubers, and also I don't really know what happened, but it looks like Menti used early, but didn't really do much with the Uber. Nice kite, I'd say, from Chokebusters, not giving too much bodies. And now they're trying to push back into the mid using their number advantage. They're clearing Nut House on the flank, and with a Pappy on the church, they're just securing that midpoint. And now Degu is gonna walk with the Uber, and a nice ad over, and War dying on the flank as a pocket. That was you don't really want to die now.
Yeah, they probably have to give up the second point as well, because it's very hard to kind of hold on to this point without the overcharge. And there you go. Actually, they will lose the Jimbot kill. I mean, the Jimbot life, as he was trying to just hold on to that second point, and he's been punished for it. And without a demo man at your last, surely this point is going to be easy pickings for the Joke Busters, and they've Ubered in now, and they just need to get into the faces. And there you go, Chris has already laid down a massive amount of damage, and you even see a bit of the remnants of the Uber kind of backing up that damage from Chris as well. And there you go, a very nice, easy round for the Joke Busters. It was a heartbreaker round as well, Ombrack, all the way from their last to their last.
Well, they just taught Weebtunnel Tactics a lesson. That's how you push it out with an Uber ad. That's textbook TM2 there. You want to get the Uber on your demo and try to be aggressive with it. And yeah, that's the first round. And wow, I was expecting Weebtunnel Tactics to be a bit more solid there, but I guess not yet.
Yeah, I think it helped with Jimbot going down early on that second point as well, made it very easy for them to make that entry into the last point, as we are going into another middle now. And you see Jimbot is going aggressive onto the core of I think I'm actually mixing them around to Chokebusters, and they will manage to kind of just push them out a little bit, maybe pick up some frags here and there from some flanking players of Weebtunnel Tactics, and now they're chasing for the Pappy kill, and Pappy's giving them the ring around the roses and will manage to weasel his way out, but Ignis is on the hunt. He's still pushing forward, but he sees the blob. It's too scary for him, and he will back off for now and just claim that second point with his team.
And once again, the double bomb from Ignis and War was really effective. They got M's really early onto that mid, and then they did a lot of damage, so Jimbot could pressure forwards and use that room given from his team to just take the space on mid. And if they want to win mid, Bustaz need to find an answer to that double bomb from Ignis and War, because it's kind of, you see them coming, you know what they're gonna do, and yet they still manage to surprise them. So I don't know, I feel like Pappy there is kind of the big mind in the Bustaz. He's the one main calling, so he ought to try to find a solution to counter this, because Sunshine is a really stalematy map, and once you get stuck on last, it's really hard to push up. And as I said, he get a headshot.
Oh, War, yeah! Wow, he really is good at this sniper class. No wonder they wanted to kind of put him on the pocket / rumor / sniper trademark. Do not copy. Oh, he almost caused a snipe onto Daegu there. That's a bit scary, as if a drop could have been detrimental to the Chokebusters, as he's still sniping here and there, just kind of playing off and he can't seem to find them anymore now, but let's check in with the rest of his team, see how they're doing.
Oh, Menti is on a really bad position, and he gets cleaned up, and I don't really know what happened there. Well, I know what happened, I just don't know why it happened. Walk got 2 clean frags onto the soldier, and then Ignis tried to bomb into force, but it got cleaned up by a sticky trap. But there, the incentive to try to force Daegu was good, but when you're Menti, you don't really want to commit there, because you're gonna get forced if you follow your team. And they had more bodies. All they had to do was spam Daegu, and they would have gotten the force in the end. So kind of a misread there, but not too costly, because they didn't meant to die. But I mean, if they can kite this push from Dutch to mid, they can probably get the Uber on time for holding last properly.
Yeah, so they do push out Weebtunnel Tactics out of mid, but then again they're probably just a little bit scared of that Uber charge that Daegu's building, and he should have it any second now. They'll even get the kill onto Ignis, who is maybe going for a little play in the cafe area, and so they're just going to completely give up this second point, and hopefully the Jimbot won't go down on this. There is a flanking player, and actually Jimbot will quickly just turn around, deal with Chris, and start setting up for last.
And looks like Pappy wants to leave the Uber from the left. He's going super deep onto the heavy, but he didn't know the heavy was there, so he got denied really early. And this damage from the heavy, it must be enough. It would be enough for Menti to get the Uber. So kind of unlucky from Pappy there. If there was no heavy, that was a really nice aggression. But then that house had a nice read onto the situation, and this could be another reset. And I see Chris on Spy trying to go probably for Menti, and Ignis is going for the counter play as well on Spy.
Yeah, lots of
I think he got shot. I think he got seen somehow.
I'm not sure. We'll see if they start firing around, but he's doing that awkward thing as Spies, like, did they see me? Did they? I don't know. And I do see the heavies kind of shooting randomly here and there, so they probably do suspect a spy, and if you're in a predicament like Chris is in right now, it's very hard to find the stab once you've been discovered. And I mean, Menti's played his fair share of Highlander, so I think surely he can't get stabbed at this point in the game.
Yeah, but they know Chris is there, because both spy they bumped into each other, and we have a pause. Yeah, what is a prep game if there's not a pause here?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It just allows us to kind of speculate even further on Ombrack. We can really get into the minds of both of these teams and see what they really want to get accomplished here. Do you know
they can't get dropped by Chris. Menti can't get dropped by Chris. As in, he knows he's there because Ignis bumped into him. But again, Menti is kind of infamous for his drops. I remember versus Topender, he nearly had as many drops as Ubers, as he had Ubers. So I wouldn't say I hope he's not going to drop to the spy, but you know, nothing is safe with Menti.
So, if you're Chris right now, Ombrack, what's your best approach when you've been caught out like this? Is it to just switch to a different target? Maybe go for the demo man, who's least likely to check his back, really, in these sort of defenses?
I think the best pick here is probably Nuthouse on Heavy.
Okay.
But so if they get Nuthouse on Heavy, Pappy can probably lead his team onto the left and clean Ignis easily, so that would be a 2-man advantage, and then they could try to force Menti without using the Uber.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind that Chris is on that spy, so that 2-man advantage is feeling more like just a 1-man advantage, because once you've used up that spy, it doesn't, unless you're pulling out some Mookie pistol, I don't think you're going to contribute to your team too much after the stab has occurred.
Yeah, but so let's say he gets in the house,
okay.
He doesn't die, so he's still there as, you know, he's still as a pressure. His presence is enough to make Menti wonder, is he behind me now?
Okay.
And if they get the 2 people, they can sack as many as like 3 players if they want to, because Weebtunnel Tactics won't be able to push out anyway. So I feel like a spy here is really clunky considering they know he's there, but that was kind of unlucky. So I wonder again if you could play around the fact that Menti is Menti and a drop can happen, because look at this positioning. I really don't like it. They know they have a spy, and yet he gives a lot of space behind his back. So if maybe Pappy comes from balcony and get this good spam onto Menti, the spy can the backstab can happen. And I remember Lopander versus Weebtunnel Tactics when there was a spy, or was it versus Swift? I don't remember, but Martin just sat on the corner on that kind of weird thing on the left of spawn, and he just sat here and he couldn't get backstab him. And that's probably the best option considering there's no sniper. In that position from Menti, I think that opens him to a lot of risk for little to no reward.
Okay. Well, it looks like it's just down to where Warp kind of wants to position himself right now. He really wants to look and peek into this lobby, and if he wants to really uphold that position, or at least make sure he doesn't, for definite, make sure he gives away his life. He wants to get some nice heals onto him, so I think they're just going to take the aggressive position for that right now. So I'm sure there is some reason to Menti's position right now. As we have Hallelujah, we've got our unpause, and going to get back into the action of things, and let's see what Chris decides to do. It looks like he's just playing security camera right now.
So it looks like that pause was because of Ratslayer PC. He has issues sometimes. Pappy tells me that's about that, so let's see if Ratslayer is still able to hit pipes, I don't know. And this is where they're going to play. So Menti is behind the point with the heavy, not how he's just checking for the spy all the time, and it's going to be up to how Dutch Bustaz wants to make a distraction for Chris to go in.
He's it looks like he's just kind of relaying all the information to his team right now, and he's well aware that they're checking for him as well, so I don't think he's going to go quite ballsy with his maneuver. I think he's just going to probably play safe and go for some safe pick, maybe onto the sentry gun for example, or maybe some random player like Ignis who wouldn't be checking his back. But,
it's getting kind of clunky now for Chris, because okay, he can give information, that's good, but what more can you do? He's still a dead body. He's like, as long as he hasn't unclocked and do something, it's as if he was dead, because he can't do anything.
Yeah, it's. Do you think that maybe this is the fact that
Weebtunnel Tactics are pushing out of it, and they got 2 frags. They got Ratslayer and Pappy. That's probably when the pod happened, because I guess Ratslayer crashed.
Yeah. What an unfortunate time to crash as well, just as they were pushing in. And he is back to the world of the living now, but now you've got a man behind all the way back in the base, and they know that he's still rocking spy as well, so surely at the back of their heads they've got to know that this spy can poke or prod them at some point. And Chris is making the long walk back to the fight whilst everything's going down on the mid fight. He will go actually opt for the back cap instead, and he does bring back a few bodies, and maybe Pappy might actually link up with him as well and help him. Whoa! Ambassador coming out from Christopher. And Pappy can maybe finish off this second cap. Not anymore though. There's actually got Jimbot and Bustaz sat on top of it. But it's brought back the entire team, and Pappy's still making the attempt at going for the cap there, but it's not going to happen. But during all this, they forgot about Chris. They've forgotten about Chris, and he got the kill onto Menti Ombrack.
Nah, it shouldn't have happened. I don't know. They know there's a spy, and what is War doing on the left lobby? Just dying for no reason. And now Jimbot is another casualty. He dies to Patty's rockets. And that should be a round if played correctly from that to Bustaz. But what was that dreadful play from Weebtunnel Tactics? I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but okay, as I'm ranting, they're pushing on top right. Pappy's going deeper to the pyro wall, can't reflect anything, and he's probably gonna die if Crafty can put up on the damage, but he doesn't. And this is gonna be a spam fest now. And with a pyro, this is gonna be a really hard one to win.
Oh my god. Daegu went down, he almost had his Uber charge, he was at like 90% or so and he's gone down. They really needed that Ombrack. I think they were actually holding out for that Uber to make that push there, but it goes down to a sticky snipe from Jimbot. So that's kind of their way back in for this on Weebtunnel Tactics.
There was the saving grace from Jimbot there, but what a weird sequence of gaming there. The last 2 minutes were so weird. Even that push out from Weebtunnel Tactics, knowing that Rattler crashed. I mean, come on, that's not really... If that's what happens, no, not good.
Oh, bomb in from Pappy. He wants to get the pick onto Menti, but he decides against it. Instead of dedicating himself, he will go back to his team instead, and they've just delayed enough time to kind of make them die to the spam alone. Weebtunnel Tactics, with their tail between their legs, they will back out despite having this Uber charge advantage to their name, and they do have it now, but times are ticking and it is going down slower and slower and it's not going to be as effective at this point. Ego's actually probably going to have the Uber for the middle, and they've got to be know about this on Weebtunnel Tactics. They've actually just decided to give up the advantage altogether and just reset things.
That was probably the proper play. There was 6 versus 4. That was really hard to push, even though they had Uber ads. So I feel like going back here was maybe Weebtunnel Tactics being back into the sane world. And it's gonna be another hold. Look at Jimbo, he's just holding there on the flower. I don't really know what he's expecting. I guess he has stickies. Yeah, he has stickies. Ignis dies to a bomb. He tried to go for Daegu, but a solo bomb onto that mid, it's really hard again. I guess it's gonna maybe go for sniper. This is Sunshine. This is a really hard match to push on what point you're in. And there's a MG battle going on in the bottom lobby between Ems and Bloodies, but not House.
Ooh, Chris.
And Jimbo dies to Chris. That could be it.
Yeah, it just seems there's random players in such random parts of the map. I was like, Chris, how'd you even get here? And Jimbo was asking the same question as he goes down. He will trade Ubers on this midpoint now, and War's looking to back out after a nice job, well done for forcing that Uber. And they want to fight on their own terms, on their own side of the map, and they don't take the bait on to choke busters now. They're trying to fight from flowers instead, and oh, actually no, they're getting some cleanup kills on this choke area. And with 2 players down for Weebtunnel Tactics, they can probably force out the rest of them over on choke busters now, and they're actually sticking around a lot longer than I thought they were. There we go, they will back off. There was a little bit worried for them there on Ombrack, but they do manage to just squeak out that second point and start setting up a last defense.
I don't know what War is doing. I feel like he's just dying on the flank all the time for no good reason. And as Ignis is dying on flank as well, but that makes more sense because he's a Roma. They are a lot of the time they're down 1 to up to 2 soldiers, and that's a lot. You don't want to have that happen. And the bomb coming from War. Why is he the one bomb again? I really don't get it.
I don't know what the pick was going for there. I'm not sure if he really wanted to get the trade onto somebody. There wasn't really a demo man inside, nor the medics, so he just kind of went in there dedicated, so maybe realized that he was going to go down and his best bet was to make a trade, but this is just me spitballing at this point, Ombrack.
He's on his last. I hope he knows he just has to go back to spawn if he wants to spawn a sniper. He doesn't have to die there. It's not like he's pushing, but he's back on soldier anyway, and look at him, he's just going for it again. In the the force time, that was what is display again.
Ombrack.
And they're not even trying to force it. They're not even trying to force the Uber on Menti. Digu used on lobby and they tried nothing with it. Okay.
It's okay, Ombrack. I'll ask War for you. Maybe he can review some of your demos and mentor you in the ways of the I guess soldier.
I don't know what's going on here, and now Weebtunnel Tactics are trying to make their way in onto second one from bottom left. Menti catch first rocket and finally has to use, but that was a weird push, and I don't know. Jimbo dies to a pipe from Raslayer, and that should be it. Look at Hams, he's on the back line, maybe trying to go for last. No, he's on balcony, maybe trying to set a play with his team. And as I said, he's going for Menti. Menti is really weak onto dungeon, And I think he has to go back to last, and they can't play the point anymore. And Dutch Bus are just taking advantage of the high ground, probably getting war and no some. Okay, apparently when you go under, you're in the no kill zone. You can't die here.
Nobody wants to chase under there. Nobody dares go against all these classes that can just shoot the little tiny doorway of dungeon and keep themselves safe. So they will have an uber advantage on the bright side of things for the turret busters now, and they are pushing in straight in with it, but they can't seem to find any players right now. And with this fat man over on the other side of the point, and they've got no real damage. There we go, there's the damage. Ratslayer landing some nice pikes, but Warrior is come out as the pyro to play and just starts throwing some afterburn and just causing some disruption, pushing people off the point. And there you've got the pyro Uber. This is a rare sight in a 6v6, and there's a few kind of stragglers. Oh my god, Pappy! He just kind of keeps himself around in the lobby area and catches Menti by surprise and gets the kill.
Okay, so go back on that push. That push from Dutch Bus on top right. Daegu used for no reason. No one was spamming him. Ratslayer was fully buffed. He was full HP. And the only threat to him was a rolling pipe. But okay, he decided to use. Why not? You don't waste any health. But then they used and did nothing with the charge. And only got some damage onto the heavy. But nothing was done with it again. And that counter pop from Menti, I don't know. I don't know.
Are you alright, Ombrack? Do you need
no
Snickers?
Like these plays are really weird and like and
okay.
I
know what you mean, Ombrack. You're a guy that likes to have reason and rhyme. You're a Prem player that has thought very long and hard about this game, and now you're watching your fellow Premers just kind of flop about all over the place, and they find results in places they shouldn't be finding results, and they do make another push of it, and this time it goes a lot smoother.
Was really good. This one was really good because they got forward with the charge. Ratslayer led it across the point and landed some stickies and pipe and some damage onto the combo, so that was a good one. And they probably just learned their lessons really quickly in the span time of 30 seconds. So that was a really good push, and that's a 2-0 lead for Dutch Busters. And I was expecting Weebtunnel Tactics to put up a better fight than this, and now they have to really quickly correct the mistake.
Well, to add more method to their madness, they will actually pop out the Kritzkrieg over on the side of Chopusters as well. They really want to kind of end this game with style, and oh whoa, yeah, gets launched up in the air, but kind of surfs it onto Daegu's face and rocket jumps away. He will crater himself, but he's died for the cause, and this has just sent the Chopusters in a bloody rage. They've gone for the enemy medic Daegu as well, Menti I should say, and they've equalized the medic situation, and you've got a few players kind of just straggling at the end of these two medic bouts, and it's currently Jimbot who holds the high ground, and they don't dare kind of push them. And oh no, they're actually kind of camping Menti as a spawn. They expect one spawner, but they don't expect the second spawn camper. Oh, that was close, Menti.
That was really close. And now these two picks, that should be enough to push out of them. Even though the Uber ad is in the hand of Daegu, he doesn't have it yet, so you probably, Weebtunnel Tactics, that's a good decision. They want to go in, they want to force their way through. Warrior with nice distraction until he gets Chris. That's a nice Roma battle, I guess. And the Ratslayer dies as well. They could take it to last and try to get Daegu early before he had the Uber, or even get a really good force onto him. And Chris, what was it? Almost completely so weak.
What's going on? I guess they were just holding in such a defensive position, the Chokebusters, because they had a Kritzkrieg coming on Brack, and they knew that once they got that Kritzkrieg, they had to be proactive with it. But it seems Weebtunnel Tactics were a lot more proactive. They wanted not only the damage onto the medic, but they was like, oh, 3 point. Nobody's defending because they're all defending Daegu for this Kritzkrieg. We'll just take that for free.
Really nice reaction here from Weebtunnel Tactics, playing the aggro gameplay that suits them better than just trying to be a bit more cautious than that. This is that was a really quick mid, and another bomb is coming onto from Ignis onto the valley, but doesn't accomplish anything with that. Somehow Crafty dies to sticks from Jibdop. The counter bomb is coming from Chris, trying to go for Menti. He gets it. Nice rockets from the Irish soldier, and that gives his team the mids if they can get bloodies in the backline.
Oh, they've all collapsed onto Daegu there, and Daegu will go down, but I guess it was just a matter of time. There was just so many Weebtunnel tactics, and they did such a nice job of actually syncing up the play as well that it's caused a little bit of chaos at the end to kind of get some trading little fights, and now we've got a good old-fashioned Scout versus Soldier matchup on this mid. It's almost like a game of MGE, but Jimbot is here to crash the party, and Pappy will not take this skirmish. He will back out with the rest of his team.
That distraction play from Bloodis, playing in the backline so Ignis can jump in and do some damage to Daegu was really, really good. Nice coordination there from Weebtunnel Tactics. And looks like they're back in the game. They finally have some momentum going, and they have a really, really small area. They can't do anything with it, so maybe the better play here would be to try to force their way now before Daegu at the charge and try to get some bombing going. Considering how aggressive War is, maybe try to do a double bomb now. Ooh. And as I say, that damage is straight on the flank between Chris and War.
Chris almost kind of caught out War by surprise, but corners just pay enough favour for the Englishman that he won't go down. He's actually just kind of toying with them at this point, kind of peeking around this corner. But oh, they've actually got an Ignis bomb, but doesn't really find the kill onto Daegu, and it's a bit of a tall ask from your Roma to kind of make that kill happen.
That was a fair try, I guess, but
yeah, it was a pretty good.
No follow up really, and it's really hard to do a single man sack and actually get the force onto the medic there. So probably Ignis will go back on sniper because no, he's back on soldier. So maybe something else, something different is coming. Chris is on spy, and as I said, the second roamer from Weebtunnel Tactics War dies through a nice shot from Emps.
Man, it must be so nice just playing with two roamers constantly back to back. It's just constant little bombings. You know, you don't have to be as patient when you go. Oh, Chris is actually cloaked in now, so no point to talk about the soldiers anymore. And I don't think they'll see this coming on Ombrack. It's not too common we see a spy slapped out against a mid hold.
And
so
on the other side, War is playing a sniper, I mean, which is pretty good news for Chris. And it decloaks, he's going around the Tetris, going for Cafe, maybe going for Messi, but it's spotted, and War gets the frag onto Chris, and now there's no roamer. That means once less soldier to spam your sniper, so maybe it's time to take some space and try to make something happen, some sightline going for War. And as I said, Ignis is trying to go really deep onto Ratzler, can't do much more than that, and he eventually dies, and so will War. And I feel like it's a really bad play there, considering there was one player down for that check Bustaz. They should have maybe make some room onto Flower and try to make War picking there, but now that it's over, what's done's done, and Chris is jumping in the back lines.
Yeah, they've entered this choke for free that nobody was really keeping eyes of, and now they actually have to force the Uber, and Daegu is milking it for all it's worth. And there you go, look at all these players that had to kind of sit themselves forward to kind of really force that Uber off from the choke busters there. So they're going to get a free mid, and with Venti going down as well during all that chaos, they're still going to continue their advantage, and they'll probably even get the second for free as well, because there's just not enough players, I think, alive. They're instead just using this time to create a trap, but Daegu surfs it magnificently and avoids any danger that Ignis can put him in, and there we go. This is definitely a second for the choke busters.
And a 20% add. So if they're quick enough, maybe they want to try to push on that, but knowing Pappy unofficially likes to play a bit more cautiously than what they do in PCW, so maybe they will just wait for that. And Nuthouse is on heavy, Blood is on NG, so this is going to be a fortress hold for Weebtunnel Tactics on their last.
I just want you to draw your eyes to the timer on brackets. Currently 5 minutes left, and you've got to round up. Is this the part where you start making those reverse noises in your mumble? You know, beep, beep, beep. Park the bus.
Well, it's possible. Look at them, they're just holding outside, and Weebtunnel Tactics have 3 of classes. No War is switching back now, maybe because he knows that if he stays on Pyro they won't be able to push out, and Ignis is going Spy, so yeah. If you're Dutch versus here, you have no incentive to push, so I think it's the correct play here to send Ignis on Spy and try to make something happen, because if he doesn't do anything, nothing will happen and it will just lose that game. So now it's not up to Ignis to try to maybe get the frag onto Daegu.
So we could be in here for a long time, Ombrack. I hope you pack some sandwiches or a magazine or something.
I think he's been spotted really early because he's back on soldier again. So
they will throw in war just that one time to try and make something happen. But again, it's just such an extreme ask of your Roma. You've got so many eyes dedicated to just dealing with kind of intruders that enter your second point zone. So I don't see what the avenue for them to make this push out here is, Ombrack.
Maybe try to take a trade and see if you can get the better end of it, but the things look really dire now for Weebtunnel Tactics, and whatever happens, if they manage to make something look favorable to them, it's going to be out of a really nice play, because right now this is the game is in Dutch's hands.
Oh, Warhoof even goes down, who takes the fight against Chris over on the flowers area, and he will lose that fight. And Ignis is going in for the bomb. He does get a force off, which is a silver lining for Weebtunnel Tactics, but they've been forced all the way back to their last as well to kind of regroup on that player disadvantage that they have. And the only thing that's kind of defending them right now is the sentry gun. It's been taken out. Actually, Nuthouse has come back as heavy weapons guy, but he regrets going that decision because he's just being bombarded by the huge spam war of the choke busters. And there you go, they're kind of picking them off one by one. Almost a nice little clean-up comeback from Weebtunnel Tactics, but there you go. The slow kind of waiting game has paid dividends for the choke busters. They will get that third round onto the board.
Yeah, even though they lost because of that pushing out of their last, I think that was a correct play from Weebtunnel Tactics, because if they hadn't do that, they would have just lost maybe only 2-1, but they would have lost anyway. And now losing the round maybe allows them to have 2 quick rounds and tying the game.
Alright, it's time for the Sunshine's quickest round. We're going to start calling it the Weebtunnel Tactics if they manage to pull this one off, as they are playing kind of a quiet mid so far, kind of banking on Ignis to get behind, but they actually find the Ignis kill before he gets to do the massive flank around kill that's been kind of winning them some of these mids for Weebtunnel Tactics. And Nuthouse just kind of nuts on Chris and runs straight at him. He will actually draw some players behind him as well, so... But they don't really want to play off that. They haven't got the numbers to really do that, so they will go all the way back to last and just thank heavens that Menti is still alive for their team.
And again, I feel like the Bustaz have a better read onto the game, better than Weebtunnel Tactics. They knew that the only way for Weebtunnel Tactics to come back into that game was being super aggressive on the mid and winning it quickly. So they just sat back and waited for the aggression, and they got the really early frags onto War and Ignis, allowing them to win that map. So, War gets a nice body shot onto Chris, and probably he will have to go now. Uber is used by Menti on the one.
The Uber sniper, and he brings him into choke, tries to find a kill, but well, actually Jimbot will go down during all that fighting. And God, look at all of them collapse at this point, and this is just a desperate team, Ombrack, that just wants to try anything at this point to get back into this game, but these calls and these plays are desperate for a reason. They're just very ambitious and they're very unlikely to work. But there you go, you've seen the ramifications of their risky play, and everyone will be cleaned up for Weebtunnel Tactics. With only 1 minute left on the clock, I think it is safe to say that it's trash time right now.
I think that Uber on Sniper on Choke was already part of the trash time, if I may, because I mean, I think Menti thought someone was in front of him because he walked alone in Choke with the Uber and no one was there, so he had to turn around and catch War into that Uber. But yeah, that's a map for Choke Bustaz, and overall I think they deserve it because they played the map really well, and there was so many mistakes on Weebtunnel Tactic ends that in the end it's only logical Happy and AC makes to get that map.
So, I mean, in the big picture of things, what does this do to the ETF2L table? I mean, I think this is kind of the desirable one if you want to keep up the hype for both of these teams, because I think both of them now are still on the tracks for getting that playoff spot. If everything goes right for both of these teams, they want the way they want it to.
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems like the win scenario for the Choke Bustaz right now is they need to win the next map, and they could be in for a chance. And Weebtunnel Tactics definitely need to win the next map if they want to be in for a chance as well. So, plus they will have to wait on some week 7 results, which is it's going to be nice. You know, it's nice to see the hype continue even into week 7, where sometimes some of these games get written off. But Anyway, that is...
It's only about playoffs. I mean, there's still that last place isn't decided yet, so, and both of these teams are the main contenders to that last place. So there's only also the relegation thing going on here.
All right. While we try and hunt down the logs in the meantime, was there anybody that kind of stood out to you, Ombrack? Was anybody like your own personal MVP?
I feel like Chris did okay as a distraction. I like the way he played. I think even though. Like, remember when he was spy, I thought that was a bit clunky, and somehow he made it work by going for the back cap, while many other players would have tried to go for the medic anyway. He just went for the back cap, and that bought a lot of time for his team, and then helped with Pappy. He did a lot of work. And while I talk about Pappy, I would say, yeah, the pocket from Dutch Bustaz was probably the star player here, and
all right.
I mean, it's not surprising to see that the team with an actual pocket won, while the team without pocket lost.
Well, let's see if the stats are just as insulting. Let's check over on there. We've got them loaded for you now, so if you take a peek into your single log viewer, is there any stats that are immediately jumping out at you, Ombrack? Is there?
Look at death, awards, number of death.
Oh, baby.
He's playing pocket, and he died. He's the one who died the most on the server.
I mean, we keep saying he's playing pocket. Maybe is he playing pocket?
I don't know.
Maybe he really doesn't want to play pocket.
Does anyone know?
I think he. Maybe I did send out a quick tweet maybe a few days ago talking about the stream stats fiasco, and maybe he's just running with it at this point. He's like, oh, if the computer doesn't say in pocket, well, I'm not going to play pocket, and he just keeps jumping in.
So, yeah, that hurts your team when you don't really have a pocket, because then we saw that a lot of times during the game. Ignis dying on the flank. I mean, why not? He's a roamer, but then War dying on the other flank, and you really don't want that to happen. So,
all right, take us to TF2 school, Ombrack. Is there any realm of possibility where like no pocket soldier on 6v6 team can work? Is it possible in Prem nowadays?
In Prem, I don't know, because the scouts are really strong, and the way they played, the way Weebtunnel Tactics played, it can't work because Ignis bombed on his own and War bombed on his own. So it's never gonna work. So if you have to think bombs, why not? I mean, and in some kind of follow up, it can work. But here, it was just Ignis crashing onto Amps and then War crashing onto Crafty Dave. So yeah, that's a dead end, whatever you wanna put it.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Ombrack. You'd think the advantage of having two roamers on one team is the fact that they could just be like almost like a super roamer, where they're just following each other and following the exact same. Well, they're just following the same track as each other. It's almost like the Rockets are doing damage because you've just got two soldiers following each other back to back, or just kind of attacking from two sides. You know, really kind of abusing the fact that you've got two players dedicating themselves to making the jump happen. But you're completely right. I didn't remember many times past, say, a mid fight where they were syncing up their roamer plays.
Because there was none.
All right. Well,
the other thing I want to point out is look at Bloody's stats. He has only not even 4k damage, but on some games I would say it's on his end because he doesn't have as good as a DM of everyone else in Prem. But here, what can he do when he's alone with his medic? And I feel like it's really obvious what the mistakes are in Weebtunnel Tactics, and somehow they did nothing to fix it.
So, would you say that previous map we watched earlier was more of a Weebtunnel Tactics dropping the ball compared to Bustaz kind of turning up for the game?
Well, you can't really have one without the other, I would say.
Okay.
But
all right.
I don't know. I feel like the mistake from Weebtunnel Tactics were really obvious, and somehow they didn't see them, but Pappy did see them, and yeah, I think Dutch Bustaz capitalized really well onto the mistakes they had, the other team had, and I like the way they play because usually, from what I remember from them, whenever they play passive, they struggle a lot, and that showed a lot versus Nunya last week.
Okay, no time for stats now. We need to say goodbye to the stats. Goodbye, stats, as we are loading into our second map, and it is Reckoner, CP Reckoner. Both of these teams are going to put Sunshine behind them now and move on to the just as important map and game for their playoff potential as we are entering into this mid, and Ratslayer and both Jimbot kind of turn up at different positions on the map, and they will actually, Warrior will get some nice little bomb onto Ratslayer, giving them a nice little
well, look at the
demo
health
man
and
advantage.
tactics, they're all in the red. They were all really weak, and now it's only about cleanup from Hams and Crafty Dave and Nuthouse and Ignis, 5 and 10 HP. They're dead, only Jimbot on point. Ignis trying to bomb in, he gets Deku! How? They knew it was behind all along, but okay. Other than that, it was a pretty good mid. Two different approaches here. Jimbot tried to go for that green area, trying to go on the right side, and he just met Ratslayer, who was going out of cargo and just going straight forward. So that was a clash of decisions here, and somehow the bomb was better from Pappy.
Yeah, I thought they would maybe start winning the mid once they got the pick onto Ratslayer, and Jimbot managed to keep himself alive. But it seems that they were just had...
Whoa!
Oh, Wall goes down to a random part of the map that I can't really keep track of these random deaths from him. But things are starting to calm down now. They've actually pulled out the Kritzkrieg over on the Choke Busters. They were trying to make this work on the Sunshine map, but didn't really work out for them on over on that map. So hopefully they haven't completely given up on the strategy, however. So let's see if it works better on CP Reckoner.
Well, maybe War dying, he just saw the medigun, so maybe that's a perk from him dying. But other than that, that was another weird. And the crit is used from Ratslayer onto Toxic. He can't really connect with Menti, and he can't connect with anyone. And now this is a waste. They have to go back to mid, and they will have to face a fully charged Uber from Menti. So they have to be really cautious here.
Yes, they're entering in. They've got a 3 Chris kill, and they Uber in on War, and War just gets dropped before Menti is actually able to get to him. And they're still kind of bum rushing in. Actually, they get the kill onto Jimbot, who Crafty is just kind of caught in the mix and will take down a player for his team. But I think Ratslayer might go down as well to an aggressive Ignis, and I don't think he can get out here. And yep, there we go. They're going to farm the Ratslayer kill, but Daegu managed to keep himself alive during all of that fighting on Ombrack.
They should still probably go here. There's no demo onto Bustaz. That's an entry, clean entry onto the last, but no, it looks like they don't really want to go in, and they have 50% ad, so okay, I respect that decision here. Maybe that's the good read. And I don't really know what happened there. Like, the Uber was okay, but...
Oh, no, it's because they switched out from the crits to the medigun, so they lost some advantage from that. But
I mean, that Bustaz knew, no, Weebtunnel tactics, they knew that they're gonna use that Uber. They knew the Uber was coming, and somehow the Bustaz stayed really close, and they got caught off guard, so kind of a questionable positioning here. And as I said, Weebtunnel tactics are making their way onto the top left. They're getting the sentry without using, and now the Uber is used from Menti onto War and his demo, and Daegu gets it in the like just when he needed to get it. And this is gonna be another reset, and some Menti no scouts there from Weebtunnel tactics. They have to go back and give up the second point.
Oh, they actually find the kill onto War as well now, so we're only 3 combat classes to kind of fight off this second point. It's a 3-second point for the Choke Busters as they kind of just throw all 6 players through one doorway and just get this second point party started. And they probably might even sail this all the way to mid as well. Now they do have the 2 scouts back, but they lost Ignis over on that second point as well, and that still gives them the player advantage. And Warrior tries to strike back. Oh, they lose Jimbot. That's a massive pick for the Choke Busters. Now they could probably not only sail this mid point, now they can even get the second point as well, and they've got an Uber advantage to boot, so they could maybe keep going with this. Even if they manage to catch Menti close to this choke with the Uber charge, they might be able to drop him before he gets his Uber.
I feel like they're a bit slow, but finally making their way into the green area. But this time, oh, the bomb from Ignis against Pappy, and yeah, they have to come back now. Even if Ignis dies, I mean, the kill on Pappy was really good, and Crafty is a casualty from Jimbot Stickies, and Ems is there as well, so no scout on 2 Choke Busters. Weebtunnel tactics making their way from cargo, and they can't take that mid for free because there's no scouts to deny them. And yeah, I feel like the Choke Busters were kind of slow to push onto second point, and they got punished right away.
And all this just because Pappy collided with Ignis in midair there. So as the dominoes fall, things finally settle down as they throw Warher, yeah, and it actually gets the force onto Daegu as well. The pocket roamer succeeds in this bout as they all actually find a kill onto Nuthouse during all that fighting. So maybe with the player advantage alone, they can start making things happen.
Jimbo onto the right side, and now he's on his own with the Bloodies and Ignis, and they shouldn't be greedy there. They have to come back. They can't get more frags.
Menti goes down.
That was really bad decision making here. As soon as Menti got his Uber Force, he had to come back with his team. They couldn't stay in, and yeah, they got punished right away. Now this is only crumble from Weebtunnel.
What is this what is going on in this game, Ombrack?
And they won?
Like you call that an overextension? This is an overextension. And now it's just Daegu who has to run away from Jimbot, and Jimbot has to do that horrible. Oh, there we go. Actually gets the sticky onto Daegu, cuts off his only place of escape.
So how did they lose that?
They again, Ombrack, they just overextended. They wanted more. They wanted the world. They weren't happy that they got the cap point. They wanted everything.
They got to spawn instead of the world, and now Menti is sitting on the 30% Uber ad. Chris is dead. They may not have to wait for the Uber charge. Maybe they want to go now and go on last before the sentry gun is set up. Yeah, I'm expecting them not to push. Yeah, they're holding outside, I guess, and they're just gonna wait for the Uber ads.
Yeah. So probably the safe bet, as they have that sentry gun up over on the side of the choke Bustaz now. They're just maybe poking about in this lava area, seeing if there's maybe any obvious places that they can kind of get in and pressure some players. War might actually go down. Yes, thank God the Uber comes in to save him there, but he's going to have to spend a good portion of Menti's attention to deal with him.
Nice rocket onto Nuthouse, and Bloodies dies, and Crafty on Heavy gets War as well. That Uber was dreadful once again. And a nice hold from that Bustaz, but to be fair, they didn't have much to do there because only the Uber was used on the right side by Weebtunnel tactics, but there was no real opposition and no really targets to kill. And Menti is still dead, so now it's gonna be 100% Uber ad for Daegu, which is a full Uber. And now they can take this mid, and they probably don't even have to use that.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling the urgency coming out from Warher. Yeah, actually gets the surprise jump onto Ratslayer as well, and Ignis, the double Roma strat actually pays off this time on Brack, and he forces off Daegu as well. So it's a nice little kind of trade for both of your Romas, but with both of your soldiers down, you haven't really got the presence for the rest of your team to kind of hold back the rest of.
And they got Menti.
Yeah.
Somehow, even though the Uber was just miles away from here. From him, they still got Menti into the cargo, so I feel like maybe there's some kind of miscommunication going on here, or maybe it's because these players aren't really used to the map. But I feel like they fail to somehow. Every team can close the distance really quickly to the other medic, and that's a really bad situation for both of these teams.
Yeah, Wall's trying to snipe from the forward respawn, but they've caught wind of him now, and well, actually, he's still not kind of switching back to his last point. He's trying to get the snipe onto the scout, but they should have the Uber charge pretty soon. 400 choke Bustaz at this point, and it looks like they want to push on the dart. Kind of posturing for it, and they even get the pick onto. Yeah, he was still hiding in that forward spawn? Why? They got the second point. What is he going to accomplish? Okay, never mind. Let's just drop it. But they're going in now. Ratslayer almost gets gunned down by the heavy weapons guy, but manages to get back to spawn in time and switch out, rotate class. They've got this sentry gun that's kind of drawing the fire of both of the soldiers, and they're trying to play off the point as they will actually force the Uber out, or it's more like they're actually using the Uber on Weebtunnel tactics, and Ratslayer has just been left to the dust, and it looks like they want to float about enough to maybe kind of make another push into the point, but...
The War is pushing on Pyro. He's under, he's pushing at Pyro. And he doesn't even have a jetpack, he's a fool.
I think they actually banned it, to be fair, so... You know, I'm sure there would be some jetpack shenanigans if it was allowed, but... I mean, they have pushed out over on Weebtunnel tactics despite having a Pyro, and still having a Pyro, so they're still running with it, but can't help but think that if he pushed down Soldier now, maybe this part of the game wouldn't be so awkward. He might have to go all the way back to last, and yeah, you actually see him... oh no, he's just picking up hammer. I thought he was going back to last.
Okay, so we have the pyro here. I'm not really used to this meta, so maybe I will miss something here. And
this is the meta now, Ombrack. Okay, get used to it. Okay.
So
what you're gonna be seeing.
So this is the meta. What's the play here?
He wants to push back the stickies like he's doing, reflect some rockets, and slowly let the choke busters kill themselves.
Ooh, nice Chris jump from under and tried to wrap up Ignis, and he actually got the frag with the help of Pappy, but that was only a trade, so not much came out of it, and maybe Chris will come back on sniper, and with a pyro and no soldier, Weebtunnel Tactics can't really push out of this.
I think the only play I could see happening with the pyro is if they kind of bunch up all the players, like maybe start getting 5 people through a door, and the pyro is just acting as your own personal spam shield. But kind of like a similar push out you see on Pro Dog with the pyro and against those forward holds. But other than that, I don't really see how this pyro can make his way in.
Peppy is trying to build his balance backup, so if there's a fight in trade going on, it will be in favor of Dutch Bustaz. And look at Quo, he's getting so greedy, he probably can get off, but like finally get the back in time and doesn't die. And I see Chris on Spy, so considering how aggressive War is, that's probably the best situation.
But Ombrack, if only they had a pyro to check for this Spy.
Yeah, but look at War. He's so aggressive, he doesn't check.
This guy is on a whole new level. They're playing like checkers and he's playing 4D chess.
I think they saw Chris as Spy, so now he's actually spy checking. So
he's actually spy checking.
Yeah, they must have spotted him somehow.
They're actually pushing with the banner over on the choke busters now, despite having. But look at the lockdown coming down from Jimbot.
Chris is going for it. Maybe he can get Menti, but he's been spotted and finally gets cleaned by Jimbot. That was unfortunate. Menti turned back at the exact good time, and now 2 players are dead on choke busters. And even when you have a pyro, you have to push out of this.
Well, they are firing at the pyro, and he's too busy kind of flaring to really. He will push back the Uber a little bit, but it kind of just sends them back to their own safety as he's dedicated onto Dago, and my god, the W plus mouse 1 combo has actually worked to take down the medic of the choke busters. This is a sad day for TF2 Prem.
And okay, so I've criticized that pyro, but that could actually put some tilt going on the choke busters, because you don't really want to lose to a pyro, and I know Chris could get triggered by this, but Pappy gets the pyro, so maybe that will be the end of it.
He actually dies to the afterburn. Oh, woe is he.
But yeah, the tilt factor is something to take into account now.
Yeah, I mean, if the enemy team is not taking this seriously and you're struggling to kind of take these rounds off them, I can see how they can get under some of these players' skin. But he will be forced to switch off to the Roman now, surely. Or Pocket Soldier, whatever class War is playing at this moment.
And Pappy is back on Spy, so that could be the tilt I was talking about. Why would he play Spy here?
I guess he knows that the pyro is no more, it's safe to go Spy. And they'll never suspect this, Ombrack. You never suspect the Pappy Spy.
Yeah, that's actually true, but I can't help but question myself about what is going on in this game.
I mean, it's almost a bit telling, like these Highlander players are a bit kind of sporadic and aware of a spy, if anybody's going to be aware of a spy. I bet they probably even check their real lives to make sure they don't get backstabbed by any spies. They're very...
Chimba dies Chris on the Toxic, so that's even better for Pappy. No, all choke busters have to do is just pressure from cargo and make some distraction for Pappy so he can go for Menti.
Oh, they're pushing him straight into the arms of Weebtunnel Tactics. I don't know the play from Crafty.
Pappy's going for it. He gets the backstab to Menti, dropped the med. Nice play from Pappy. And I don't know, it looked like Weebtunnel Tactics want to be aggressive on this Ignis jump for Deku, but he couldn't get anything done here. And War is coming now, trying to get a nice rocket, but Deku serves away. And that house! The follow-up from that house, he dropped the Deku, and now this is a 3v4, but no Uber, no medic on either side.
Yeah, he's actually come back. He's picked up a health pack, and he must come back into the fight and take the fight against. Oh, he not only gets the scout kill, but he even assists over on this other soldier kill, and Bustaz is going to help out his Finnish buddy as well. So nice little kind of teamwork from Weebtunnel Tactics. That's kind of just out DM and out finesse the Bustaz during all that fighting.
And now they have a really small. I probably can't push out with it, but Jimbo wants to drive push this. He gets bombed by Crit though. Probably gonna get down to the. So yeah, Menti died to sticky trap from Raslayer. This is all going down for Weebtunnel Tactics. This fight is looking really grim now. War is sitting on top right. They're only 3 up, but Bloodies is really weak, and so is War getting juggled up into the air. Bloody is going back into that fight, but getting cleaned up, and it's now only up to Nuthouse to make something happen. Bloody finally get cleaned up. And that sticky trap from Radslayer was just a saving grace for Dutch Bustaz.
I don't think I could ever predict this what's going on in this game. It seems just so random, but I very, I guess, courageous push out, dry push from Jimbot there, but a lot kind of goes to show why a lot of these teams kind of wait for the overcharge if they want to push these last points. It's very difficult to make the last pushes happen and not get punished for it in those little tiny tight choke points. Warrior will go down in good Warrior fashion, but it's a stalemate right now, so I can see why they want to make this.
Puppy was 1 HP walking in and no one cleaned him, and Ignis is sitting on spawn as sniper. Chris gets Jimbo while on the backline. That's a really nice pick from Chris, and now this should be a free push from Dutch Bustaz. Even into second, they have the Uber they're going really deep onto that second point. The bomb is coming from War, but he's just leaving the side.
Oh no, he's going to get chased as well. He's only on tiny amount of health. He might get a crossbow actually. No, they aren't chasing the kill all the way now, but it looked like they might have got a couple of soldier kills to start that off. But they do get their own Uber. During. Oh, is that a drop?
Why don't he drop here? I don't know. I think that was just a spam from Chris, or did he actually?
It was a mixture of spam and like soldiers bombing in.
Okay, so I think Chris was the one bombing in, but why does he drop here? I mean, everyone was committed from Dutch Bustaz, so even though he had to use, they could have taken that fight to Daegu and force the trade anyway. But now it's going to be a free use onto Rasley onto the top left area. There's a barrel and a gun, and nothing is really done except getting that sentry down. It's going to be now an even fight going on here. But Jimbo died to nice aggression from Ant, and some cap time is pulling by the scout onto the point, and that's the first round for Dutch Bustaz. But this is so messy. Wow.
Yeah, it almost looked like they weren't going to make it happen for the Bustaz there, and War was sort of buying some time with the Pyro, but I can't help but think that if he was a soldier class there, he could have got maybe some frags in there, kind of turned the tide and in his team favour instead of just kind of delaying things for his team. And once the scouts and everybody else realised they could just stand on the point and kind of push them from there, it was their round to walk away with.
And it's been like 5 minutes since Menti didn't have any Uber, but nice bomb from Pappy gets Jimbot and a nice aggression onto the combo. Only Bloodies now is fighting onto that mid, and he have to come back to his medic helped by Nuthouse, and as I said, Nuthouse just deleted from the map by a nice rocket from Chris. And now the Bustaz are gonna take control of the second point, and maybe they want to go into that last and trying to get Menti, but no, Menti is just hiding in front. And is he? No, he's just going out of it. And this is gonna be a hold. 11 minutes remaining. Dutch Bustaz, they could hold this and just wait for Weebtunnel Tactics to make a mistake.
I mean, that's quite a hold that you have to pull out there. Even the round timer would start ticking in there, which we don't see too often, and start resetting things before the actual server time would kick in. They decided to follow and kind of place their bets on the Ignis sniper right now to kind of barrel them out of this this last horde. And they're just you see Rasley is going a bit aggressive. It's a little strange. I guess he really wanted the Warrior pick, and maybe getting a bit cocky over on the side of Bustaz.
And as he says in chat, Al-Maufa. So, you know, it might be really, really... Oh, nice rocket from War! Get the trade onto Crafty. And that could open things up for Weebtunnel Tactics. They want to push out, but Ignis is on Sniper, so it's probably denying Weebtunnel to push out of their last. They're just gonna hold on their last and just wait for Ignis to get the holy drop onto Daegu.
Yeah, Ignis, he's... oh, I thought he was going to go a bit more aggressive on his sniper there, but decides against it. Ratslayer bombs in again, and I think they think very highly of Ratslayer's bombing abilities. I mean, this is Reckoner after all, a last point that is famed for its Demo Man bombs, so it won't come up trumps for Choke Bustaz this time, but again, they just need to kind of play this kind of safe, low risk sort of play, because they're winning right now on Ombrack. There's no real reason that they need to risk anything.
Yeah, exactly. They just like there's Bloodis is on heavy, so this is denying as well the push out from Weebtunnel Tactics. So is Ignis sniping from the drop down. War is trying to go for it, but it gets completely obliterated by the two scouts from the Choke Bustaz. But he knows that even if he dies, this is not gonna let the Choke Bustaz push. They don't want to push out of this anyway, so him dying doesn't really hurt his team.
Oh, Crafty goes down. He plays the bodyguard to Chris there, who was the real target for Ignis, but with a scout down, it's probably going to deter the Choke Bustaz back to their stalematey ways. They will throw Chris in, however, but I think they can still make a defense out of this with just 4 men and just the tiny choke ways of Reckoner.
They could try here because they had 2 down, but Chris is back into the action now. War is bombing in again. He actually used on him and he goes for the trade with the Daegu. So now,
will they be able to get out? Oh, actually, Menti does just force his way past the stickies.
The play from War is really good, trying to go for the backline, but yeah, 3 people are just waiting for him. So that was kind of an unfortunate here. I think that was a good try from War here, and that reset. They just traded Uber. I think that was decent. They need to make something happen. They want to get out of their last. And here they're just going to build their Uber again and see what happens.
Alright, they're just poking about on the... Oh, actually, they get the kill to Ignis, who was just made it to the door. Oh, wow, what just came and popped out and popped Crafty. Whew. This, no wonder the kid's been put on, like, another Roma role there. He's pretty good as a sniper. Having a peek is this time it's War's moment to shine instead of Ignis, who couldn't quite find the snipes, but War has shown promise.
War is going for it slowly from the drop down, but he can't get Daegu hiding behind the shed on the second point, so he's probably have to go for someone else. And the only one I can think of here is Chris. Pappy is just staying on that shed, but no, he's not there anymore, and Ignis dies. So it's probably going to be a retreat for Weebtunnel Tactics back to the last. That's what they're doing, and they should expect a bomb coming from main now.
Oh, they might get the pick onto the medic here, as he's kind of got a nice little sight line from War, and I don't think anybody will notice this, but no, they don't want to risk pushing in Daegu. They just kind of buff somebody. He doesn't dare go further into the base, and God, look at this sight line from War here. Yeah, it's just not great in any
what
manner,
meant you died?
Really. Wait, what? Wait, what? 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 How? When? What? I was on the yeah cam the entire time. I didn't even notice him going down.
I think he just got bombed from Pappy or Chris, like one of the soldiers, and just dropped. But so don't tell me this is not Menti's fault here. And Uber is used on top left onto Ratslayer. Everyone is out from the left or from Weebtunnel Tactics. This is once again an even fight. If they can get some frag going, Chris is the first casualty of this fight, but Happy with a big bomb, getting Menti and Chibon, and this is another round for that Choke Bustaz. So I'm sorry we missed that drop, but
sorry, that was my bad on Ombrack. I was so mentally checked out. I was like, there was nothing that could happen to Menti or any of these bombs that the Choke Bustaz are trying to pull out here. I thought it was best spent looking at the Warho cam. That I'm just so shocked that I'm very curious to see how it would have happened if we could have had a replay.
I
But
think
c'est la vie.
I think it's just a bomb, and Menti believed in his team a bit too much. And this is this is pretty much the same situation. Weebtunnel Tactics are down 2 rounds, and they have to make something happen really quickly. But War dies really early to Hams, who actually gets Jimbot as well. So all Weebtunnel Chuckbusters have to do is just wait for Weebtunnel Tactics to come to them, and they're doing it perfectly. And now Rassler is leading the charge from under, is trying to get some damage going onto the enemy team, and Chris bombing into that lobby, trying to go for Nut House. Can't really do much more than 1 rocket, but this should be enough, and this is a second point secured for the Chuckbusters.
It just seems like the scouts on the Chuckbusters are having such a nicer time in mid. It seems that they're not really being pressured or having any reason to leave their little power positions that they've set up on mid, and Uber does come out and they've probably locked down Jimbot at this point. I say he's locked down Jimbot, but he just manages to get out, and Jimbot is still alive with 7 HP. He could do with a bit of medical attention at this point, but I think anybody with some medical attention is please. There we go, he got the crossbow onto Jimbot finally, but the rest of his players have gone down during all this, and a bit of infighting in this base, and Ratslayer will be the one to pick up a Warrior pick, and they don't want to go beyond that now because they know the respawners will bite them in the arse if they continue this. So instead they just back out to second, kind of reset things and get that Uber built up again and craft a new plan.
This should be close to garbage time now. I don't see how Weebtunnel Tactics can push out of this and win 2 rounds in such a short amount of time, but it looks like they have to try to go for it anyway. Ignis, maybe, no, they're going to go from under. Bloodies and War leading it. War is jumping in, trying to go for Degu, gets 1 rocket onto Ems, but not much more than that. Jimbot is launched into the air. Kratos with a 4 HP onto the rollout. And a really nice fight here actually from Weebtunnel Tactics. They managed to clean up the people, and they get the point without even using the Uber.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, War did end up dying in the process, but he brought a lot of room to his team, kind of pushing everybody out of the second point, and the rest of the Chuckbusters couldn't really contribute to the team fight that Weebtunnel Tactics were bringing, and they decided to just play it safe, back off, and realise that they can't take second anymore. They've been effectively pushed out, and because of the player advantage and maybe some of these picks that they were lost during that, they do have to give up the midpoint as well. But you're still in a safe place for the Chuckbusters. You're 2 rounds up, and there's only 2 minutes left, and there's going to have to be one hell of a comeback if they're going to make this happen. And they decide to commit the Uber onto second point, and they've got just so many more players floating around these Weebtunnel Tactics, and there you go, there's the collapse coming in from not only Pappy on the kind of the underside flank area, but just some of these random little runaway spots from Weebtunnel Tactics in the second point of the Chuckbusters. And Chris, is that Chris? Yeah, Chris is on the chase as well for Bloodis, trying to help out his boy Pappy, but he's just hiding right now. Maybe he can get the kill onto Menti again. And there you go, there's the bomb. He bumps into the soldier, however, and he does get a nice little surf away, Menti, and Chris chases him one more last time, but the medic...
There's still time. Technically, there's still enough time for Weebtunnel Tactics to come back into that game. They don't have a demo, but they can't really afford to wait for him. They're going back into that midpoint, trying to go for the fight, but War here is on sniper, so he gets actually a nice headshot to Crafty. And Pappy dies as well, so if they're quick enough, they can actually make it.
All eyes are on Degu right now. I think it's very, very important that he doesn't die at this stage of the game, as he's the one that's going to build that nice guaranteed safety net for his team to make sure that this last point is held on to. And they will lose Chris in the forward respawn. It actually has me a little worried as they just now get the respawners to defend the second point. It's a shame that Ignis kind of jumped the gun there to really defend that last point, and they throw all these bodies at the last point hoping to get this this game really kicked into high gear, but maybe it was just a little bit too quick on Ombrack as they lost all these players rushing ahead. And they do have an Uber charge now. They will force it out and actually use it onto this last point. And it's just Jimbot fighting up against Ratslayer. They need to take the Uber off of Nuthouse here to get the cap train going. They've got Ignis who's come back in from the fight, but he actually gets cleaned up during the little skirmish. Bloodis is still alive. It's just a blender of players on this point, and there we go. The dust has settled, and the Chuckbusters have done it. They've gotten their 6 ETF2L points. only 30 seconds left in. Wow,
Gets the 2
whoa,
scouts.
Jesus.
Nice shot from Warrior. Yeah, just the saving grace from this bad evening overall, and that was a nice in clean 2 shots.
I mean, it's not really going to win the point, however, but I know YouTube? Like, sub and subscribe. Alright, it's 12 seconds left. It's 2-0. It's more than over. Congratulations to the Choke Busters. They will be the possible underdog story to make this this final blazing run to their playoff spot. Are you scared, Ombrack?
No, why?
No, not even a little bit?
Not even a little bit.
Alright,
I'm excited.
Okay.
That's a different feeling.
Alright. Well, while we get some logs kind of punched up onto the stream, is there anything that was immediately obviously going wrong for Weebtunnel Tactics there? Do you think was the Warrior kind of overzealous jumping again, or
no?
Was it better? Would you say?
I think it was better, and if not for the drops from Menti, they could have taken the map. So I don't really know. Like, it's really hard to tell if it's up to if it's Menti's fault only or his team. I feel like one of these drops is for Menti only.
Look at that.
He should have used, but
look at that difference between the medics there. My God, 5 deaths to the 13 deaths. Ugh, feels bad, man.
Yeah, and it looks like the heavy classes from the Bustaz were really outperforming the one from Weebtunnel Tactics. Both Krith, Ratzler, and Pappy are just head and shoulders above War, Jimbot, and Ignis. So that just goes to show that I think the DM was more onto the Bustaz tonight.
Yeah. I think we have got some other little slides back there in the stats department. If production just starts slamming buttons, don't be scared to explore the little control panel. There we go. Some got the medical stats. Now, walk me through this, Ombrack. You're a PhD doctor yourself. You should be the master of this screen right now.
Well, there's obviously the drops from NT. So again, it's a bit hard to say if it's because he wasn't protected well enough or if it's just because he made mistakes. I think it's both of these. Especially like the one we missed where he drops on last. I feel like when you drop there, it's probably because
look
you
at
have
those
bad positions.
Look at those deaths within 20 seconds after the Uber as well. So it seems like a majority of the Ubers they were making on Weebtunnel Tactics, like 50% of them were garbage, basically. It's a pretty poor statistic for.
Yeah, and the one thing that is weird as well is look at war stats from healing. You get less than 20% as a pocket.
Man, he still was not going to make it onto the stream stats, so I still can't use him in week 7. God damn it!
So maybe that's one part of the problem as well for Weebtunnel Tactics.
They're doing this on purpose. They just want to spite me on racking my lovely stream stats.
Maybe.
Alright, well, come to a bro. There we go. There's the Gentleman John extended stats. You only find this on Team Fortress TV. As, I mean, very predictable. The Weebtunnel Tactics side of the map. Wait, that's wrong. That can't be right. It's switched to the other way around. The Choke Busters should be on the blue team.
Yeah. And
the Weebtunnel Tactics should be on the red team. Production. Alright, well, if we just kind of use our pretend vision, Ombrack, just pretend for me, imagination, that blue team is Choke Busters. The fact that they were just winning the mids outright kind of gave them the initial advantage of the game, and then from there they kind of just snowballed a few rounds, and it was very similar to the first map where they just got some early rounds in and just played safe, played it calm and collected, and Weebtunnel Tactics just did not like being in this, I guess in the grips of the Choke Busters there, and
look at Chris killing everyone on mid.
Yeah, he's had a fat day. Like, goes to show that even 2 roamers does not match the power of 1 solid roamer.
Exactly. Nuthouse looked like he had a decent game for his team as well, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty like dominant fights for Chuckbusters overall, and most of them out of nice trades.
Well, do you think the maps had anything to do with it, Ombrack? We did talk about it at the start of the cast, where they are the two most unpopular maps for a majority of these teams. So maybe they're not feeling too familiar and not comfortable on these maps. Do you think if we saw them on more traditional maps, it would have played a bit more into the scoreline?
I don't know. I feel like on more regular maps, it would even play in favor of the Chuckbusters, because from what I've heard, Recognize is one of Weebtunnel Tactics' favorite map. So maybe one of their best map, at least one of their favorites. So I don't know how it translates into team performance on the map, but like if we had played on other maps, I think it would have been even wider scorelines to Chuckbusters.
All right. I'm not sure if we've got any more slides back there, Mr. Production Man. Oh, no, we haven't. It is gone to the bright light screen. Okay. Now, this is usually the part where I start bringing some people for interview, and I'm not sure if we've got any up there, because I don't dare alt-tab from TF2, because it is a prickly beast.
I can put them in.
Yeah, you just you drag them in, take off the muzzles as well. We'll start getting the interview stage going, and... All right. Well, welcome to the interview stage, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ratslayer from the Chuckbusters. We've also joined in from Daegu from the Chuckbusters as well. We've also got Bustaz in the channel from Weebtunnel Tactics. First, I'm going to address Ratslayer and Daegu. Congratulations on your fat 6 ETF2L points. How are you feeling, guys?
It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. We broke the record.
Yeah. Double-digit points.
So you got to be you're on the road to a potential playoff spot. Do you feel like you guys can do it?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, we can.
You've got a big match coming up in your week 7. That is the Swift game, right? Am I correct? Or am I mixing up teams? No, I'm Ascent. Ascent, yes. Sorry, I'm mixing up everything. I've got notes on the wrong pages. There we go. So you're playing up against Ascent, and we're actually joined with Ombrack from Ascent as well. You could maybe got any trash talk at all? Turn this into a wrestling match, maybe?
No.
No. Come on,
No,
God damn it, guys. Where's my...
I think we can.
Alright. Well, so our final maps are, I think for the season are, if I can pull up a little bit, well, oh no, my netbook has crashed. Okay, while I'm trying to find out the maps for next week.
It's Process and Reckoner.
Process and Reckoner, thank you very much, Ombrack. So, Process and Reckoner. How are these maps for you, Chuckbusters? Are you worried about going into these maps against Ascent, or are these quite comfortable maps for you guys?
I think we're pretty good on these maps.
Alright, okay. Daegu, agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
Nice. I mean, probably on me. Should probably ask better questions than yes and no questions. Alright, Bustaz, tell me about these two matches that you played just now, these two maps. What do you think went wrong in your opinion?
Pretty much there was just like more confusion in the combo from like some parts that I wasn't expecting of rather. But like, I don't know. It just felt like we were getting outplayed by like the Chuckbusters players then, and the soldiers especially. I like how they're playing against us.
So, I'm kind of struggling for questions. I'm not really going to question.
So,
thank you.
Bustaz, this game was kind of the one. If you had won, you could have come into playoff. Now you're going to fight for relegation. How do you're playing Swift next week, if I'm not mistaken, while Nunya is going to play Lego. Okay, so do you think you can avoid being the last team in the league, or what do you feel about? Because there's still stuff to play for next week.
Anything is possible. I mean, if I look at the kind of how did Low Panther also perform? Like we tied against them, but they also tied against Swift. So there's also a slim chance. Of course, it's not going to be possible for us though, but any man can hope.
Fair. And Ratslayer and Daegu, before this game, like everyone mentioned this game as the battle for relegation, and winning 6-0 gives you the possibility to actually come and fight for the playoff. Did you expect that outcome before the game, or were you only focused on let's not finish last?
Yeah, we weren't taking less than 6 points.
Yeah, we were confident in winning this game.
Yeah.
And Ratslayer, is there some personal pride from finishing in front of Kondok in the table?
Oh, definitely. That's all I was hoping for this season. Just beating him.
Okay, that's pretty much all I have. TurboTabs, if you have anything else.
Sorry, I kind of went to a little cat.
I don't know, I feel like that was a really messy fight. I don't know, messy game. I don't know what you guys take out of it, but sometimes I feel like there was some kind of miscommunication going from both sides, and some maybe just relied on star players showing off for solo plays more than, you know, actual set plays. I don't know what every one of you think of that game from that perspective.
We definitely made some like misplays, but I just think our pushes were better. Our last pushes were much better. Like, I don't know how many last pushes they failed on Sunshine, but I think we won like every one of them.
And do you feel that small low pender experience from Pappy had any kind of impact into that game?
Not really.
No?
No.
Okay, that's all I have, Turbo.
All right, okay. Well, I guess we'll close it out. Guys, for joining us in the interviews, I'm going to give you all a nice little shout out. So we'll go in alphabetical order, as per usual. Bloodis, have you got anybody to shout out there?
Shout out to my team, and also shout out to our special casters here for still thinking that Reckoner is our best map. It's secret. It's not. We've been actually hating it for the last couple of seasons. But one of us still wants to keep it there.
Let's get this right, Bloodis. I don't think about anything ever. I don't think at all. So I didn't have an opinion on this. It was all Ombrack.
Okay. I will blame Ombrack then.
That was
Thank
just
you for casting
from what I've heard.
TurboTabs.
Okay.
Also, yeah, shout out to Tops as well.
All right, Daegu, any special words?
Shout outs to my team. Shout outs to Kroon and all the Czech guys. You know who you are. And of course, shout outs to you guys for casting.
Cheers, buddy. Ratslayer, you got any special people out there you want to shout out to?
Shout out to Gandhi, Spo, Mr. Epic 24, Ubers, my team.
Cool. Ombrack, any closing thoughts?
Any closing thought? No, really. I guess there was.
Any closing thoughts? Any closing shout outs? Anything?
Like, shout out to everyone who is involved in TF2 from like LANs or casting or whatever, playing the game. That's pretty cool. Shout out to everyone who's going to come to Sweden who donate for Sweden, for players to come or prize pool. And yeah, tune in for next week because there's still some games to play, and all of them are pretty. There's stakes in every game.
Cool. I guess I'm going to give a final shout out to everyone at home watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. You're the reason we do this. A big thank you to Ombrack, my co-caster, for giving a nice little analytical side of the game. And I want to give a big shout out to Nicell, who all the way from across the pond to kind of bring us production this evening. Thank you. And finally, a big shout out to all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's not really social media, but it's still a plug nonetheless. We've also got a website as well, teamfortress.tv. Find all of your competitive TF2 needs there. I've been TurboTabs. With me on the co-cast has been Ombrack. The production member has been Nicell. Ratslayer, Daegu, and Bloodis have been our interviewees. Alright, that is everything. See you guys next time.